Hello, everyone. Welcome to our show. My name is Ava.
And I'm Eva. Thanks for tuning in today.
In today's episode, we're joined by Madam Cecilia in the studio. She's here to share a shocking experience that happened to her 15 years ago.
For some people, infidelity is a non-negotiable end to a relationship, while for others it's not. But what if a spouse's infidelity leads to children? What would you do? Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's best to hear it straight from Madam Cecilia.
Madam Cecilia, thank you for joining us. Please share your story with us.
Thank you, Ava and Eva, for having me on your show. I truly appreciate the opportunity. Where do I begin? I suppose the best place to start is at the beginning. My name is Cecilia Adams. I got married at 25 to my then husband, who was a year older than me. We grew up in the same neighborhood, so our families had known each other for ages. Being an only child, I always dreamed of having a large family. My husband, Madhu, however, wanted just 2 kids, a boy and a girl. But my dream of a big family came true, because I was determined to have a son to carry on the family name, common expectation in our community, and where Madhu hailed from. Our first 4 children were girls. Each birth brought immense joy and love into our home, but also renewed Madhu's disappointment. When our 5th child, finally a boy, arrived, Madhu insisted he be our last. He argued that the financial strain was becoming unbearable, and reluctantly, I agreed to undergo tubal ligation during my last childbirth. 2 years after our son was born, life had settled into a routine. Our home was bustling with the energy of 5 children, each with their own unique demands and joys. By Christmas that year, I noticed a new family had moved into our neighborhood. Henrietta, a single mother with 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, had bought the vacant house 2 doors down from ours. We exchanged customary nods and brief hellos, but nothing more. Henrietta seemed perpetually busy, her life a whirlwind of work and childcare, much like mine, but without a husband to share the load. Then, one fateful afternoon, while I was trying to rest on a swing chair in my front yard, enjoying the rare quiet in my home, my peace was shattered. The windscreen of my husband's car, parked in front of our house, was smashed by a football that had come hurtling over the fence. Incensed, I stormed out to the gate, football in hand, ready to confront the culprit. Outside, I saw a group of young boys huddled near my gate, their faces a mix of fear and defiance. Before I could speak, one of the boys stepped forward. He was about the age of my 3rd daughter, around 7 years old, but he spoke with a brashness that took me aback. "Give us our ball back," he demanded, his voice lacking any remorse. Furious, I responded, "Not until you explain why you think it's okay to destroy other people's property." The boy scoffed, crossing his arms. "Why are you making such a big deal? It's not even your car, it's my dad's." His assertion stopped me cold. I looked at the boy, really looked at him, and noticed something in his eyes. Suddenly, confusion and a rising dread filled my mind, my heart racing with the implications of the boy's words. As the standoff grew tense, the boy's mother, Henrietta, appeared, breathless from running. She apologized profusely to me and turned to scold her son, but not before our eyes met. Henrietta quickly looked away, and my gaze moved to her midsection. She looked pregnant, I thought. How? She didn't have a partner. He quickly left with her son, leaving me shaken. The encounter with the young boy, who claimed my husband of over 12 years was his father, planted a seed of doubt that grew rapidly into an agonizing suspicion. That evening, as I sat across from Madhu at dinner, I watched him interact with our children. I felt a distance that had never been there before. His laughs echoed hollowly, his smiles seemed forced, and every word he uttered intensified my growing unease. I told him about the boys playing football who had broken his car's windscreen, and he simply waved off the issue, saying they were just kids and he would fix the glass. Haunted by the boy's words, I had a sleepless night, turning over every possibility in my mind. I considered confronting Madhu directly, feared his reaction and the potential upheaval it could cause our children. Instead, I chose a more discreet approach, gathering information about Henrietta and her children without alerting my husband. 2 days later, my inquiries bore fruit. A friend who worked at the local real estate office casually confirmed that my husband had purchased the house that Henrietta and her kids were living in. This friend, unaware of the gravity of the situation, mentioned it offhandedly as a savvy investment move by my husband. I felt a chill run down my spine as my worst fears started aligning with reality. However, the mystery of his relationship with Henrietta deepened my confusion. Despite the proximity of our homes, my husband and Henrietta seemed to barely acknowledge each other in public. They avoided any interaction that might suggest familiarity, let alone an intimate relationship. This behavior was completely at odds with the secret life I was slowly uncovering, making the betrayal even more bewildering. The final confirmation came when I discreetly followed my husband as he went for his regular evening walk and saw him enter Henrietta's home, the ease and familiarity of a man entering his own home, the sight of him embracing Henrietta and her children, as if they were his second family, shattered any remaining hopes. I harbored that there was a misunderstanding. The revelation of my husband's double life struck me with a force that shattered the foundation of my world. Each new detail about his betrayal inflicted a fresh wound, as disbelief, anger, and profound sadness swept through me. As I tried to reconcile the image of the devoted husband with the reality of his deceit, the emotional turmoil was overwhelming. How could he have maintained such a facade? How could he father children with another woman, just 2 houses down the street, and return home with a smile, as if all was well? The more I reflected, the more my shock morphed into a determined resolve to confront my husband head-on. I realized that fully understanding the extent of his betrayal was not just crucial for my peace of mind, but essential to safeguarding my children. This clarity pushed me from paralysis to action. I decided I could not let this deception define or dictate my future. I needed answers, and I was ready to demand them from him, whatever the outcome. Faced with this harsh new reality, I knew I had to make decisions that would fundamentally reshape my future and that of my children. Prospect of dismantling the family unit was daunting, but living a lie was untenable. Legal and financial considerations intertwined with emotional and ethical dilemmas, each requiring careful deliberation. In the dimly lit living room of our family home, the atmosphere was thick with tension. As I sat on the couch, my posture composed yet vibrating with a nervous energy that was palpable. The room felt unusually somber as my husband walked in, instantly sensing the serious undertone of the evening. "Hey, everything okay? You look like you've got something serious on your mind," queried, his voice laced with a note of concern, yet unaware of the storm about to break. I took a deep, steadying breath before speaking. "Yes, we need to talk. Please, sit down," I said, my voice calm but firm, leaving no room for evasion. As he sat down, his expression shifted from casual to cautious, sensing the gravity of the moment. "I've been doing some thinking, and there are things that just don't add up," began, my eyes steady on him. "I've learned a few things about Henrietta and the children next door." His face tightened, frown forming as he replied, "Henrietta? What about her?" His attempt at feigning ignorance was feeble and unconvincing. "Madhu, I know about the house. I know those children are yours, and I know about her pregnancy," it continued, cutting straight to the heart of the matter. "I need you to explain to me how long this has been going on and why." Caught off guard, Madhu's demeanor faltered, flicker of guilt crossing his face before he tried to mask it with a defensive posture. "I can't explain," he started, only to be interrupted. "No, let me finish," I interjected sharply. "I've seen you with them. Our neighbors have seen you. How could you bring them so close to us? How could you lie to me every single day?" Madhu, now visibly struggling, his voice lower, tried to articulate his thoughts. "Started a few years ago. I never intended for it to go this far. I thought I could manage both situations without hurting anyone." "Manage? You thought you could manage deceiving your family?" My voice rose slightly in disbelief. "You've been living a double life, Madhu. You've been spending our money, our resources, our time on another family. How could you be so selfish?" "I was afraid of losing you, of losing our family," confessed, his voice laden with regret. "I thought I could keep everything under control." "Control? This is our lives you played with," I countered bitterly. "You didn't just betray me, you betrayed our children. What were you thinking? How do you expect us to go forward from this?" He had no immediate response. His head bowed in shame. I need to know everything, Madhu. Every lie, every detail. I deserve that much. We need to decide how we're going to handle this situation, especially for the kids. Madhu nodded, resigned to the painful honesty required. The conversation deepened as we delved into the harsh realities and the multitude of deceptions. The fallout was monumental. Confrontations revealed painful truths about Madhu's second family, unraveling the fabric of our shared life, but also marking the start of a necessary journey toward healing. I knew that moving forward, my decisions must prioritize my dignity and my children's well-being. This wasn't just about confronting a cheating spouse, it was about reclaiming my life from the shadows of deceit. Finally, I laid out the path forward. I'm leaving. I want a divorce for the sake of my sanity and my kids. I don't know how to forgive your lies. You forced me to have a tubal ligation during my last childbirth, to stop me from having more children. Yet you have another family with 3 kids and a 4th on the way. That's going to be 9 children in total. He responded that he understood. He was sorry and said he would do whatever it takes to make things right, if that was even possible. I asked him to leave the house, and 2 weeks later, I filed for divorce. I got the house as part of my divorce settlement, along with child support and full custody of my kids. Since he moved into Henrietta's house down the street, I couldn't bear to live there with my kids. So I rented out the house, got a transfer from work to another state, and moved there with my kids. I have been living there since. My kids are all grown now, even my youngest boy is about 17 years old. My first daughter is married with a kid, so I am a grandmother as well. My ex-husband never visited once, although he did eventually show up at our daughter's wedding. His child support payments were irregular, but I never bothered much about it because I was making enough money to cater to me and my kids. If my future self could thank my past self, it would be for making the decision to leave that deceitful marriage. And I am so glad I did.
Oh dear, Madam Cecilia, that sounds like such a horrible experience. I'm at a loss for words. Eva, what do you think?
Throughout Miss Cecilia's story, I kept wondering what I would do in that situation. My initial thought was divorce. I would leave that scam marriage. But hold on. It's easy to say what you would do until it actually happens. That's why we're not here to tell you what to do with your life. We're here to guide you in making the right decision that's best for you at every point in time.
That's absolutely correct, Eva. We're also not here to pit men against women. Although men are often believed to be more prone to cheating, new research suggests that women are also dispelling that misconception. For these reasons, we share our advice on a case-by-case basis, without bias towards any gender.
So, if a situation like Miss Cecilia's happens to you, before making any decision, gather as much information as possible. This includes understanding the full extent of the situation and any legal or financial implications. Talk to a legal advisor to understand your rights and options. If you decide to confront your spouse, do so calmly and clearly. Express your feelings and concerns without escalating the situation. Avoid violence at all costs and stay away from any sharp objects or instruments that can cause harm or injuries.
Also, think about the impact on your children, if you have any. Consider how the situation and any decisions you make will affect them. Their well-being should be your top priority. Then, plan your next steps. Whether you decide to stay and work through the issues or leave the marriage, have a plan in place. Your plan should include your financial stability, living arrangements, and support systems.
So, if you decide to stay in the marriage and work things out, here are some steps you can take to move forward. 1. First of all, prioritize your well-being and safety. Always remember that your emotional and physical well-being is paramount. If you feel unsafe or too emotionally distressed, seek help from family, trusted friends, support groups, or a professional. Engage in activities that bring you joy and relaxation to stay strong and resilient. 2. Have an honest and open conversation with your spouse about the betrayal. Both partners need to express their feelings, concerns, and expectations moving forward.
3. You need to forgive your spouse, but in doing so, understand that forgiveness is a process, not a one-time event. It's okay to have setbacks and take your time to heal. 4. Consider couples therapy to help navigate complex emotions and rebuild trust. A therapist can provide tools and strategies to improve communication and resolve conflicts.
5. Set clear boundaries to avoid future betrayals. Both partners should agree on acceptable and unacceptable behaviors. 6. Trust is essential in any relationship and takes time to rebuild. Your spouse must be transparent and consistent to regain your trust. 7. Focus on strengthening the positive aspects of your relationship. Spend quality time together and create new, positive memories.
8. Regularly evaluate the progress of your relationship. Are both partners committed to making it work? Is there improvement in communication and trust? 9. Healing and rebuilding a relationship takes time. Be patient with yourself and your spouse as you work through this challenging period. 10. Staying in the marriage and working towards forgiveness is a personal decision that requires commitment from both partners. With effort, understanding, and support, it is possible to rebuild a stronger, healthier relationship.
On the other hand, if you decide to leave the marriage as Madame Cecilia did, here are some steps to move forward. 1. Seek legal advice immediately. Consult with a family law attorney to understand your rights and the legal process for divorce. This will help you navigate issues like property division, child custody, and child support. 2. Assess your financial situation. Gather all your financial documents, including bank statements, pay slips, tax returns, and information about assets and debts. Create a budget to understand your financial needs post-divorce. 3. Secure your housing. Determine where you and your children will live. If staying in the marital home isn't an option, start looking for alternative accommodation. 4. Seek emotional support. Lean on friends, family, or a support group. Consider seeing a therapist to help you process your emotions and build resilience during this challenging time.
5. Work with your attorney to establish a custody arrangement that prioritizes the children's well-being. Ensure that child support is addressed in the divorce proceedings. 6. Document and record everything. Keep detailed records of all interactions with your spouse, especially if there are disputes about custody or finances. This documentation can be crucial in legal proceedings.
7. Take care of your physical and mental health. Engage in activities that bring you joy and relaxation. Prioritizing your well-being will help you stay strong for your children. 8. Plan for the future. Consider your long-term goals and how to achieve them. This might include furthering your education, advancing your career, or setting new personal objectives. 9. Communicate with your children. Be honest with them about the situation in an age-appropriate way. Reassure them that they are loved and that both parents will continue to be there for them.
10. Stay positive and focus on the future and the new opportunities ahead. Leaving a bad relationship can be the first step towards a happier, healthier life. 11. I want to emphasize that leaving a marriage is a significant decision and can be a very complex process, but with careful planning and support, you can navigate this transition and build a new, fulfilling life for yourself and your children.
That brings us to the end of our show today. Thank you very much, Madam Cecilia, for sharing your story with us. I'm sure our viewers learned a lot today.
Thank you, Ava and Eva, for giving me this opportunity. Sharing my story is the least I could do, and I hope it helps others in their relationship.
Thank you for watching. If you liked our video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of our videos.
We'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment below. This is Stories of Our Lives by Esta. See you in the next video. Bye for now.
Goodbye.